Hi Capricorn, welcome to Stardust Astrology. This is your monthly forecast for November 2016, and this is going to apply if you have your Ascendant or Moon in Capricorn to the largest degree, to a bit lesser degree if your Sun is in Capricorn, in which case it is going to affect mostly your career and your overall vitality. It can also apply if your Aruda Lagna is in Capricorn, in which case it is going to describe what the world around you perceives about you during this month. And it can even apply if you have your Atma Karaka in Capricorn, in which case it is going to affect you very personally. I'm using Vedic sidereal positions, which means that we are currently in the month of Libra, not Scorpio. Scorpio would be by Western calculations. Now, the first thing that we can notice when we look at this chart that is in front of you is that all the planets are direct this month, and all of them are placed from one side of Rahu Ketu axis. When all planets are direct, when all planets are direct from one side of Rahu Ketu axis, it means that there is a certain imbalance in life. This is happening for all of us, and it is just that depending on our Lagna sign or Ascendant sign or Moon or Sun sign, this is affecting different areas of our life. Now, imbalances are very necessary in life because they motivate us to go after things, create new things, start new things, and try to put our life back to balance, right? So it's a good time if you know how to use it and if you know where to direct those energies. And this is a very public time for you guys. This is not it's not a time to spend it in privacy or try to, I don't know, run away or hide from the world. No, this is the time where you have to cooperate with other people and to be very visible, to be out there, and to use this mostly for your business, for expanding your social circles and your gains, maybe starting some new projects. I will come back to that in much more detail in a second, but since this is the first reading that I'm doing for you guys, not the reading, the forecast, like the general forecast, I feel the need to just briefly pay attention to Saturn, which rules you guys, and its long-term influence, long-term transit, which is much longer than just November 2016. So for us, it is very important to monitor where Saturn is transiting in your chart, because Saturn rules you guys. And starting from November 2014, Saturn entered your 11th house. This is a great position, one of the best positions for Saturn to be and to transit. And 11th house is the house which rules our hopes and long-term goals and wishes. It rules anything big, like big social circles, like let's say big gains, even side gains, something that comes aside from your salary, for example. It rules big projects. It's like if you know somebody in your life and you think that they are like megalomaniacs, this person probably has a very prominent 11th house, or they're extremely social, extreme opportunists. They probably have the 11th house. This is the influence that it has been bringing to you guys starting 2 years ago, when Saturn, who rules you, goes to the 11th house in Scorpio. It means that you are now disciplined enough to go and fulfill your desires. You have the patience and the necessary discipline to go towards your goal, and your persistence pays off in this time period. Wherever you go, you can make new friends. You can start collaborating with new groups of people, whether it is in your private life or in your professional life. And these people can help you become rich and powerful, especially since this is happening in the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio is a very, very powerful sign. So you could have been hanging around with some very powerful people in the past 2 years. Now, there is one downside to this transit, a possible downside, and I'm pretty sure it does not apply to all of you guys, but Saturn in the 11th can bring you kind of feeling guilty about fulfilling your own desires. You know, you go after something and then you're like, oh, but should I do this? Is this the right thing to do? Do I deserve this? You do. This is the time to go and fulfill your dreams, the biggest dreams that you have. You are powerful enough to do that. You probably have the right people around you to help you push through, and this is an influence that's happening now, and the next time this is gonna happen is in 28 years. Okay, so it's not the time to feel guilty about fulfilling your big goals, big hopes, big dreams, big desires. It's the time to go after them and take whatever you can. Okay? Now, if we talk about Scorpio kind of people and Scorpio kind of gains, who are they and what are they? They are anything that involves digging and drilling, literal or metaphorical. So it can literally be, let's say, oil companies, gas stations, money coming from those sources. But on the other hand, it can be, for example, friends who are surgeons, friends who are healers, who are dealing with occult sciences like astrologers, tarot readers. They could be people who are involved in psychology, psychiatry. One thing that I think people, let's say, skip when they talk about Scorpio sign is engineers. I've seen so many great engineers with prominent Scorpio sign because a Scorpio demands of you, the energy of Scorpio demands of you to open whatever you're dealing with and go inside to see what's happening inside. So be it a car or a TV or a radio station, or I don't know, a hardware, or somebody's mind, emotions, fortune, destiny, be it the earth's crust itself, you know. This is the energy of Scorpio, is very penetrating and it goes deep and digs deep. For example, this is great for research. If you guys are into any kind of research, Saturn in Scorpio is perfect for that. It gives you the endurance to go as deep as you need to go. People with prominent Scorpio sign can have great problem solving skills. If the problem is complicated, if the problem is kind of mysterious, you don't know where its roots are, it's not what it appears to be in the surface, Scorpio is perfect for that. So any kind of that kind of profession, or people who are dealing with those kinds of things, are what has been triggered in the past 2 years. Now let's see the short influences. What is happening right now? Uh, we always do this by watching where your Lord goes, which I've already covered, and then watching where the Sun goes, because Sun is where our focus lies. And for you guys, Sun started transiting the 10th house, and this transit started on the 17th of October. And now, Capricorn people who are ruled by Saturn are not very friendly with sun-like personalities, okay? You guys are completely different. And in your charts, Sun rules the 8th house, and the 8th house is not a very comfortable place to be. It is very similar to the sign of Scorpio. And the 8th house has a lot to do with power, but not the kind of power that is gained easily. The power which comes through some kind of struggle and some kind of pain. Those things that you have to kind of pay the price for them. You know what I mean? Those truly powerful people, not only regarding money, but truly powerful personality. When you talk to them and you ask them about their life stories or about the power that they possess, they will always tell you that it came through some kind of difficulty and them facing some personal issues or their personal fears and troubles in life, from which then they arise like phoenix from the ashes. Now this 8th house of yours, which rules these kinds of things, has been transited by Rahu starting from the January 2016, maybe giving you guys some ups and downs regarding power issues or psychological issues, you know. And when the Sun, who rules this 8th house of ups and downs and power struggles, starts transiting your 10th house of your career and your social status and your environment at, where you work, well, it gets some directional strength, not some, it gets a lot of directional strength in the 10th house. Sun, the best placement regarding houses for Sun is the 10th house, because it means your reputation and your social status can be very strong and bright, and you know, you're like the king in your working environment. But since it is in Libra now, yes, it can be good for business, but it can also bring you let's say debilitated authority figures if you're working under someone, because Sun is not very happy in the sign of Libra. It means that people who are authorities and you have to deal with them at the moment could be someone who is overly egotistical and overbearing, and somebody who is, let's say, corrupted. All of these things are possible and they could irritate you, you know. So this is something that started happening from the 17th of October, but then the new moon in your 10th house comes to the rescue, because the new moon is where the new development cycle starts. Whenever we have a new moon in a certain house, this is the house where a new lunar cycle of 28 days starts. And if we want to start anything new, we need this these joined solar energies, which are masculine, and lunar energies, which are feminine, and each and every one of us possesses both inside of them. Solar energies are those, anything that is directed outward. Lunar energies are anything any kind of energy that is directed inward, like your thoughts, emotions, feelings, you know. And the sun energy is how you express them, what you actually do with what you first you have to feel something, that's moon, and then you have to express it outward, make something out of it, that's sun. When these two comes together, a new life is born, right? New life cannot be born without a new moon. And if we follow the lunar cycles, we can see, first of all, we can predict where the new developments are going to happen. We can know in advance where our attention will be needed during the next lunar cycle, and we can know where to invest. So I love lunar cycles. They absolutely show both our personal and energetic developments, as well as how our life and certain areas of our life develop. So with the sun in the the sun and the moon creating together the new moon in your 10th house, these new developments are to be expected at your workplace, your career, your social status. Some of these areas are going to be affected. At least what you're gonna get is a new boss. Okay, but instead of a new boss, let's make something more useful out of out of this thing. Now this new moon is happening in the nakshatra called Swati. Swati is actually the best of the best possible nakshatras for business. Out of the 27 constellations, this is the most business-oriented nakshatra in the zodiac, and it's happening in your 10th house. So I would use this very wisely. The energy of Swati is a mix of the energies of Venus and Rahu, because Venus rules the sign of Libra and Rahu rules this particular nakshatra of Swati. And the energy of Swati is a bit restless, and it can seem like something is starting to develop at your career, or the impact that you're making to the world. Anything that you do that makes any kind of impact to the world is seen from your 10th house. And with Swati, it can feel like this beginning is not stable, because Swati has this energy like wind. Swati is a very freedom-loving nakshatra, a restless nakshatra. That's the kind of energy that it brings. It's, for example, it's great for spreading information. So if you're into any kind of profession that has to do with spreading information, a great month for you. Very supportive energies. The problem with Swati is its unstable beginnings, but it has the huge potential to grow into something very stable during the time. This is the potential given by Swati on its own, plus Venus, who rules the sign of Libra, is together with Saturn in your 11th house, and they are together in this particular nakshatra called Jyeshta, and Jyeshta supports promotions. Okay, a very powerful nakshatra. And Venus and Saturn together can bring something stable, like a make it or break it situation. So if you're making it, make it very stable. And there is a huge energetic support this month to make something stable out of this. And there is also a huge possibility that this can happen suddenly, although I don't think that it can be so sudden, because you have been preparing the ground with the Saturn in the 11th house to increase your gains or reach your dreams. But then Rahu, who rules this nakshatra, is in your 8th house, and the 8th house is can be a very sudden house. Why? Because it's very simple. It's not okay. It can be a bit scary place, but actually, it's very simple. 8th house rules our subconscious mind. If you are not connected to your subconscious mind, then you are not very aware of the actions that you are doing compulsively, of the energies that you are spreading around you. And then when the consequences of that come, it's like, oops, this is so sudden. It's not sudden, it's just that you are acting out of your subconsciousness. If you're not aware of that, it can feel like a very sudden thing. And of course, we are not aware of everything that happens in our subconscious mind. So try to remember if there was any kind of change indicated by some events in your life around the 1st of September, now it is likely to manifest, especially if it is related to your career or your position, either in a company or in a society. It can, you can feel a bit caught off guard, but if you try to remember the hints that you had about it on the 1st of September, now this is the time to materialize that. The great news is actually the Swati is the most favorable nakshatra ever for business. You can see a lot of people who are into their own businesses or trade from Swati, independent enterprises, also inventors and researchers. With Saturn in Scorpio, this is a strong possibility here. From Swati, you can see singers, musicians, you can see politicians, lawyers, PR agents, diplomats, people who work in aviation, people who work in computers and IT. Again, with Saturn in the 11th house, this is a strong possibility. People who are in transport, people who are hosting events, many speech-related professions, teachers, people who are professors, many such. If you are in many such professions can be seen from this nakshatra. So if you belong to any of them, or you work for a company, or are starting a company, if any of these fields, then this new moon is going to be especially supportive for you guys. Now, another quality of Swati is that it is a bit restless, and it is great for spreading information. Swati has the energy of the wind, who is roaming freely around, who wants to be free, you know. The wind doesn't have any roots. So anything that starts this month can seem a little bit unstable at the beginning, but Swati has this great potential to grow into something structured. And with Venus, together with Saturn in the 11th house, I think this potential is strengthened. It could be the time when you feel a bit stressed, because Mercury, who rules your stress house, is also going to join this. So you could be feeling a bit restless at your workplace at the moment, but generally I think this is one great new moon and can bring you a lot of positive things. Now it can happen that you guys enter November feeling a little bit tired, because during the second half of September and during October, Mars is the planet that rules our energy, was transiting Sagittarius, which is your 12th house. As far as I have noticed, this mostly applies for people who have Sun in Capricorn, because the greatest loss of energy is felt when Mars is transiting the 12th place from the Sun, because Sun denotes our vitality. It can also be from the 12th place from Moon or from your Ascendant, but I think from the Sun mostly. Now, when Mars goes to the 12th house, we are either tired or traveling or I don't know. Sometimes we fall ill. Our immune systems are a bit weaker at this time. For you guys, Mars rules your 4th house and your 8th house, so it could be that there were some family issues that were draining you. Like maybe some of your family members was sick during this period, and they needed your extra attention or care. It might be that for some reason you were spending more time at home and feeling kind of isolated and energy low. For some of you guys, this could be the time when you were traveling, or even some people could have moved abroad with this kind of Mars in the 12th house. Now, right after this new moon, on November the 1st, Mars moves into your 1st house, meaning Mars moves in Capricorn, and he's going to stay there for 6 weeks. Mars in the 1st house in Capricorn is like the most wonderful placement that you can have. It will give you a lot of energy, and being in Capricorn, you will be patient and focused to direct that energy. Mars in some other signs, yeah, he has a lot of energy, but this energy is not directed, so you feel like you need to waste it around. In Capricorn, Mars is great, and Mars in Capricorn, when it comes to your 1st house, I already said he rules your 4th house and as well your 11th house. So you could feel very happy and energized at this point in time. You could benefit from your social circles. Gains could now come to you with the 11th Lord in the 1st house. And this is great for any leadership skills, executive skills. It is also great for exercise if you want to start some new regime. It is very probable that you will have to take care of some family issues at this point in time, but I will come to that a bit later. What is great that this Mars in the 1st house is now going to be working with this stellium of planets in your 11th house. And starting from November the 9th, Mercury is going to move to your 11th house. On the 16th of November, Sun is moving to your 11th house. This is right after the full moon, and I will come to the full moon as well. But during the whole November, Mars, who rules Scorpio and rules these 3 planets in your 11th house, is now in your 1st house, which means these things are coming to you and you have the charge over your big projects, your dreams, hopes, wishes, long-term goals. Great period. And simultaneously, your 1st Lord, Saturn, is in the 11th house, which means they are working together. This is the time when you can work together with your co-workers, will want to cooperate with you, will want to help you achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. Your social circle is going to want to help you achieve whatever you want to achieve. It's a great time, so use it the best way that you can, because I'm reminding you again, during January 2017, Saturn is moving to the 12th house, which is much more isolated place than the 11th house, okay? Now, on the 7th of November, Venus is moving to Sagittarius and staying there until the end of November. Sagittarius is your 12th house. And Venus is the planet who rules houses 5 and 10 for you guys. So just at this time, watch for your reputation a little bit, because Venus rules the house of your reputation, and it is a bit smashed by Mars in the first house and Saturn in the 11th house. And with this placement of Saturn in the 11th house in Jyeshta Nakshatra, this can bring triangular relationships. Venus was also there before she moved to Sagittarius in the 12th house. For some people, this can bring a secret relationship with a friend, a secret lover who comes from the circle of friends. And then when this Venus, which rules both the house of your lovers and the house of your reputation, moves into the 12th house and gets smashed by Saturn in Jyeshta and Mars in the first house, it could affect your reputation a little bit. If you're not involved in anything like that, it could just be that, for example, people at your workplace are talking behind your back a little bit. This is not going to be the whole month influence, but during the several days in November, you can feel it. It can also be that your children need some special attention in this time, and you are unable to give it to them because you are too much focused on earning money and earning your long-term goals. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to see something else here. Sorry for the pause. Yes, apart from issues with children, this can also bring some issues with authority figures because Venus rules them for you. But then this month is going to be bad for your authority figures, right? With with Mars in the first house and this stellium in the 11th, maybe you and a group of other people could be working on bringing some kind of authority down. It's also possible, but just watch for your reputation for a little bit in November, especially if you are entering a triangular relationship with your boss or something like that. You will see that with Venus in the 12th, you will again feel a little bit of that need to rest. You will derive pleasure from resting, from isolation, but with the Mars in the first, this is not going to be possible. Neither will you want it so much, but just try to balance it a little bit, you know? You will need to just rest just a little bit more, maybe, during November. Not as much as you needed it in October, but a little bit, yes. Now, the last influence that we have during November is the full moon, which falls in Aries in your 4th house. And it is happening in the last degrees of Aries, which means it is on the border to your 5th house. So apart from affecting your family, this could be affecting your children as well, right? But these things very often go together. Now, as I said, the full moon is happening in your 4th house, which is in Aries, and it is happening in the nakshatra called Kritika. And Kritika is ruled by Sun. So for this full moon, we have to see both where Mars and Sun are. Mars is in your 1st house, Sun is in your 10th house. Sun is not very strong, Mars is very strong here. And let's say that this full moon will have to bring your attention back to your domestic life and your private life. It may be literally the place where you live, Or it may be that you have to deal with, I don't know, some family issues. Maybe your mother could have some issues at this point in time. Maybe you will need to make a quick decision about something at home, because Kritika is a sharp nakshatra. It can literally mean that, I don't know, something at home needs to be repaired, or your car needs to be repaired. Something at home will need your attention because you were so focused on your achievements and your hopes and dreams and wishes and desires that it is probably now your family life suffers a little bit. This is not the only reason why I think that. Since January 2016, K2 has moved into your second house of family life, and K2 can create either some kind of chaos there or a total disinterest in that area of your life. And I can understand that your focus now is on like big stuff, you know, big projects, long-term goals and wishes. You don't care to spend time at home and on your family life, and yet from time to time this will demand your attention and your involvement, especially with this new moon in your fourth house. So around the 14th of November you are going to have to focus on your private issues, so it would be better to start whatever needs to be started in those ambitious parts of your chart during the first 13 days of November, okay? If there are fights at home, there could be harsh fights, and you could take a big part of them because Kritika is not a very diplomatic nakshatra. Okay, Sun in Libra can help to balance that a little bit. But again, Mars from your first house is looking at this full moon that it rules. So it can play out in several ways. Either you need to take charge and make some quick decision, either about your private life or family life or your children. You have to get handle on something over there, or you could be tense and nervous and not wanting to, wanting to fight at home. With Kritika, this could be literally some sort of splitting. If, let's say, Rahu, who was transiting your 8th house, brought any kind of inheritance, this could be the time when you need to split that, or at least start talking or decide to split something there. It could literally be that you decide to split one room in 2 parts or something like that. It can be that you, because Critic also rules cutting, it can be something as simple as, let's say, your kitchen table is not stable and then you need to, I don't know, cut 2 of the legs of the table a bit shorter and make it a bit more stable. Or it can be that your car needs repair at this time. Be careful how you drive at this time. What can also happen is that your partner gets promoted or has to be involved more at work at this point in time, so you will need to take a bit more care of family issues. If you're married, it is very possible that while you were chasing your big hopes and dreams and wishes, your partner was dealing with children much more than you did. And now, for example, they decide either to start their own business or go back to work, and they are crushed by obligations there, or they get their own promotion. If they are running some kind of private businesses, it can be the time when they are in the limelight a bit more, and therefore you have to take a bit more charge of the family than in the previous months. Okay, After the full moon, energies always start to drop and to calm down. The culminations are over. You will still have a lot of energy with the Mars in the first house. You will still have a lot of work to do, but the developments around you will start to calm down. You're going to start to see conclusions to things, and then towards the end of November, you can feel that several days prior to the 30th of November, the energies kind of pull away and they clear the energetic space for something new to start happening. Now, this new thing is going to affect your 11th house, and the whole December is going to be marked by the new moon, which is happening on the 29th, if I'm not mistaken, of November. But I'm gonna see you guys before that to see how to best navigate the energies for December. Until then, enjoy your November. I hope you enjoyed this video, that you find it useful, and that you will make the most out of the energies available for you in November. Take care, and thank you for listening. Bye bye.